What if I told you that one of the world's most iconic airlines, Delta Airlines, was once just inches away from total collapse? I'm talking about $20 billion in debt, mass layoffs, and a future so uncertain that even their most loyal employees thought it was the end. But here's the twist. Instead of crashing, Delta defied the odds, turned turbulence into triumph, and soared higher than ever before. How did they do it? Who saved them? And what shocking secrets played a role in their jaw-dropping comeback? Stick around, because this isn't just a story about planes, it's a story about resilience, bold decisions, and why giving up is never the answer. By the end of this video, you'll see that no matter how big the storm, there's always a way to rise above it. Whether you're navigating turbulence in business, or if Delta's comeback story will leave you motivated and ready to tackle your own challenges. Stay till the end for the ultimate takeaway, a powerful message of resilience and why it's never too late to soar again. Welcome to the game of life, where every tip could change your world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and activate those wild notifications so you never miss out on the next life-changing insight. We're on a mission to grow, and your support means everything. Share this journey with your friends, family, and anyone looking to level up their life. Ready to take off? Let's dive in. You're on a plane, cruising comfortably at 35,000 feet. Suddenly, you hear a message. Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing severe turbulence. That's exactly what happened to Delta Airlines, not just in the sky, but as a company. But this wasn't just turbulence. Delta faced storms so fierce that bankruptcy seemed inevitable. How did this aviation giant almost crash and burn? Have you ever felt like you were on the brink of failure, unsure if you could recover? If so, Delta's story is your story. Let's rewind to the late 1990s and early 2000s, a time when Delta Airlines seemed unstoppable. They were flying high, literally and figuratively. As one of the leading airlines in the United States, Delta was a household name. Their signature red, white, and blue jets dominated the skies, carrying millions of passengers each year. Delta was known for its innovation, customer service, and a reputation that made travelers feel at home, even 35,000 feet above the ground. From the outside, it looked like smooth skies ahead. Business-class travelers sipped champagne in their plush seats, families enjoyed trips to dream destinations, and Delta employees wore their iconic uniforms with pride. The airline was the darling of the industry. What could possibly go wrong? But here's the thing about flying high. The higher you go, the harder you fall. Beneath the shiny exterior, cracks were forming, cracks that would eventually grow into major fractures. The airline was making critical mistakes, underestimating low-cost carriers. Southwest Airlines and JetBlue were rising stars, offering cheap tickets and excellent service. Delta, they were stuck in their old ways, thinking loyalty alone would save them. Expensive pilot contracts. Delta signed long-term contracts with pilots that were unsustainable. Imagine paying top dollar for your car insurance, only to realize you can't afford gas. That's where Delta found itself. Fuel price surge. Then came the spike in oil prices. Delta's fuel costs shot through the roof, yet they didn't have enough cash reserves or strategies to offset the blow. September 11, 2001. The tragic events of 9/11 sent shockwaves through the airline industry. People stopped flying, and airlines lost billions. For Delta, this was a punch to the gut. These mistakes led to massive losses. By 2005, Delta was drowning in debt, over $20 billion. Their stock plummeted, employees were laid off, and bankruptcy seemed inevitable. Was Delta Airlines' bankruptcy inevitable, or could it have been avoided? Delta Airlines' bankruptcy in 2005 was the result of compounding factors that had been building for years. While some elements were out of their control, like the spike in oil prices and the 9/11 aftermath, much of their financial crisis was due to internal mismanagement. Expensive labor contracts were one of the biggest culprits. Delta had locked itself into agreements with pilots and staff that strained its finances. A proactive renegotiation of these contracts earlier could have alleviated some pressure. The airline also ignored the threat of low-cost carriers like Southwest and JetBlue. These competitors capitalized on cost-conscious travelers, but Delta failed to adapt until it was almost too late. That said, Filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy wasn't just a failure, it was a strategy to reset their financial standing. This decision allowed them to restructure debt, renegotiate contracts, and emerge as a leaner operation. While bankruptcy might not have been entirely avoidable, better foresight and adaptability could have delayed or minimized the severity of their financial struggles. In 2005, Delta filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It was a humiliating moment. Employees, once proud of their Delta wings, faced pay cuts. Customers abandoned them for competitors. Let me ask you, have you ever felt so low that you didn't know where to turn? That's exactly where Delta was. But here's something most people don't know. Delta's CEO at the time, Gerald Grinstein, was hiding a secret weapon that would eventually change everything. But rock bottom has a way of teaching lessons. Delta learned the hard way that survival required radical change, cost-cutting measures. They slashed expenses wherever possible, renegotiating contracts, cutting unprofitable routes, and even reducing in-flight perks. Fleet overhaul. Delta replaced aging aircraft with fuel-efficient models, saving millions in operational costs. The hidden truth. Here's something that might make you laugh. Delta started charging for snacks during flights. The reaction? Customers were outraged. But Delta made millions from those 3 bags of peanuts. Who knew snacks could help save a company? But even with these changes, Delta needed a hero to pull them out of bankruptcy. Enter Richard Anderson, the man with a vision. When Richard Anderson became CEO in 2007, Delta was still in the danger zone, but Anderson was a man of bold ideas. He didn't just want to save Delta, he wanted to transform it. 1. Employee ownership. Anderson believed that employees were the heart of the airline. He introduced profit-sharing programs, making every worker, from pilots to baggage handlers, feel invested in Delta's success. 2. The Northwest Airlines merger. In 2008, Delta merged with Northwest Airlines, creating the largest airline in the world at the time. Anderson orchestrated this deal with precision, leveraging Northwest's strengths to bolster Delta's weak spots. 3. Investing in customer experience. Delta spent billions upgrading lounges, introducing Wi-Fi on flights, and improving service. The result? Customers started coming back. 4. Fuel hedging. Anderson also implemented fuel hedging, locking in prices to avoid future spikes. It was a game changer. Did Delta's merger with Northwest Airlines guarantee its success? While the merger with Northwest Airlines in 2008 was a pivotal moment, it was not an automatic guarantee of success. Mergers often come with challenges, and Delta had to navigate these carefully to reap the benefits. Cultural integration was one of the biggest hurdles. Merging 2 airlines meant combining not only fleets but also workforces, operating procedures, and customer bases. Delta worked hard to ensure employees from both companies felt valued and aligned with the new vision. Fleet and route synergies were another focus. Northwest brought strengths like extensive routes to Asia, which complemented Delta's global network. This strategic alignment helped Delta become a dominant player in international markets. However, the merger came at a significant cost, requiring substantial investments in technology, branding, and operations. Without meticulous planning and execution, the merger could have been disastrous. Delta's leadership deserves credit for managing it effectively and turning it into a growth catalyst. What role did customer experience play in Delta's comeback? Delta understood that winning back customers was as critical as fixing its finances. They made significant improvements to enhance the passenger experience. In-flight innovations. Delta invested heavily in upgrading its fleet with Wi-Fi, more comfortable seating, and advanced entertainment systems. These changes aligned with customers' growing expectations for connectivity and comfort. Sky clubs and lounges. By enhancing their premium lounges, Delta attracted high-paying business travelers who had been lured away by competitors. On-time performance. Delta worked relentlessly to improve reliability, eventually becoming one of the most punctual airlines in the U.S. This emphasis on operational excellence directly improved customer satisfaction. Customer loyalty programs. Delta's SkyMiles program was revamped to offer more value and flexibility, encouraging repeat business. By focusing on customer needs and making tangible improvements, Delta didn't just regain trust, it built a stronger brand. Think about this. Have you ever had someone believe in you when you couldn't believe in yourself? That's what Anderson did for Delta. Quick break. Got something on your mind? Leave a question or comment below. YouTube's new features are making it even easier and more rewarding for viewers like you to jump into the conversation. Don't miss out on this chance to connect and share your thoughts. Like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a little extra motivation today. Let's fly through life's challenges together. One of the lesser-known yet pivotal details about Delta Airlines' survival is how their employee-first culture secretly became their greatest asset during and after bankruptcy. This aspect of their recovery often flies under the radar, but was instrumental in their success. When Delta filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2005, the airline faced mounting pressure to cut costs. Among the hardest hit were the employees. To save the company, 1. Pay cuts and pension freezes. Employees voluntarily accepted significant pay cuts, some as high as 32% for pilots, and agreed to pension freezes. Many didn't know if these sacrifices would even save their jobs, but they did it anyway. 2. Ground crews. Stepping up. Ground crews facing massive layoffs went above and beyond. Stories emerged of employees working overtime without additional pay to ensure flights were operational and customers received the best service possible. 3. A secret labor reorganization. Behind the scenes, Delta's leadership worked with unions and non-unionized labor to create a more sustainable workforce structure. These negotiations were kept relatively quiet to avoid stirring panic among investors and employees alike. Here's something even more surprising. Delta didn't just cut costs through sacrifices. They gave their employees a stake in the company's success. After bankruptcy, Delta introduced an employee stock ownership program, quietly transferring a portion of the company's future profits to its workforce. This move wasn't widely publicized, but proved to be a masterstroke. Employees who had given up salaries and pensions during the crisis found themselves financially rewarded as Delta's stock began to soar. This profit-sharing program culminated in 2016, when Delta distributed $1.5 billion in bonuses to employees, a record-breaking amount in the airline industry. Delta's turnaround wasn't just about numbers, it was about rebuilding trust and morale. Gerald Grinstein, CEO during the bankruptcy, introduced what insiders called the Delta spirit, personalized leadership. Grinstein reportedly wrote handwritten notes to employees, thanking them for their efforts. He also visited airport hubs, engaging directly with ground staff and pilots. The Coffee Fund. Here's a quirky hidden truth. Grinstein donated his entire $338,000 salary to a fund that bought coffee and small gifts for Delta employees. This symbolic gesture resonated deeply, showing that leadership cared about every individual. Another hidden gem in Delta's recovery story was its bold and unexpected purchase of a struggling Pennsylvania oil refinery in 2012. Most airlines wouldn't dream of entering the oil business, but Delta saw an opportunity. The refinery allowed Delta to produce its own jet fuel, shielding it from volatile fuel prices. Initially dismissed as a risky gamble, the refinery became a critical tool in reducing operational costs during periods of high oil prices. Few outside the aviation industry realized just how much this move helped Delta maintain profitability during tough economic times. During bankruptcy, Delta had to renegotiate deals with creditors, lessors, and unions. A little-known fact is that Delta's legal and financial teams used strategic leaks to media outlets about potential liquidation to pressure stakeholders into agreeing to more favorable terms. This tactic created urgency among creditors who feared they'd recover nothing if Delta collapsed. It also gave Delta's leadership leverage to extract better deals without conceding too much ground. Why it matters. These hidden elements of Delta's recovery, employee sacrifices, leadership gestures, innovative fuel strategies, and tactical negotiations, weren't widely publicized but were essential to its survival and eventual success. They reveal a profound truth about business turnarounds. The numbers tell only part of the story. Real recovery happens behind the scenes, driven by the resilience, loyalty, and ingenuity of people who refuse to let failure define them. For anyone facing their own crisis, Delta's hidden strategies offer a powerful lesson. Sometimes it's the quiet, uncelebrated actions that make the biggest difference. Today, Delta is one of the most profitable airlines in the world. But their journey wasn't just about numbers. It was about resilience, adaptability, and the power of leadership. Here's a fun fact. Delta once had to apologize for serving an expired turkey sandwich to passengers. Even giants stumble. If Delta can recover from losing billions and nearly going under, imagine what you can achieve. Delta Airlines' story isn't just about planes, profits, or market dominance. It's about resilience, reinvention, and the power of belief. They faced challenges that would have grounded most companies, crushing debt, fierce competition, and an industry-shaking crisis. Yet, instead of giving in, Delta chose to fight. They didn't just save their company, they redefined it. Through bold decisions like merging with Northwest Airlines, investing in fuel efficiency, and empowering their employees, Delta proved that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a comeback is always possible. But here's the real lesson. Delta's story isn't just their story, it's ours. Whether you're navigating a personal setback, a business struggle, or an uncertain future, their journey reminds us that failure is never final. It's just turbulence, and with the right mindset, you can climb higher than ever before. So, the next time you board a Delta flight, remember the story behind those wings. They symbolize more than just an airline. They're a testament to grit, determination, and the belief that the skies ahead can always clear. If Delta can rise above their challenges, so can you. Keep pushing, keep believing, and remember, the best comebacks happen after the storm. You've got this. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who might need a little extra motivation. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of resilience and success. Let's keep soaring together. And hey, don't leave just yet. Check out the videos on the side. You won't want to miss what's next. Let's keep growing together.